Browns continue in this roster building season, and they have been connected with a couple of wide receivers. It's pretty obvious Browns need to build out that wide receiver room, and over the weekend connected more closely to a couple of former Houston Texans wide receivers. So Browns have had talks with the Texans regarding Brandin Cooks at time during this offseason. We dovetail that on the previously mentioned, Browns are very interested in former Texans wide receiver Will Fuller. The two, both Cooks and Fuller, have worked with Deshaun Watson. Both of them linked to the Browns as they try to build out that wide receiving core and the threat downfield for the passing game. Let's welcome in G. Bush. He is host of the Barbershop, 92.3 The Fan, Saturday mornings. G. Bush, you like either, you like both, you like neither. What do you think of these former guys? And the other thing to take me through, how important do you think it is, the familiarity with Deshaun Watson, trying to put guys around him that know what he does well and he knows what they do well?
You know, I think sometimes that might be a little understated, but I think what we saw this year with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase is that when a quarterback is comfortable with a receiver and they have that chemistry, they can be devastating. It can make for plays to just happen, and plays and big plays. And those are the type of big plays that you need in order to beat the good teams and going towards the playoffs. And that's where the Cleveland Browns want to get to. And so when you look at what they were able to do with the Cincinnati Bengals with that familiarity, it's a no-brainer to try to go and get Will Fuller and or Brandin Cooks to come in here to be familiar with what Deshaun Watson wants to do. I think one of the things that I saw in just going back and reacclimating myself with, what Deshaun Watson does best, he throws a really pretty deep ball. And I was surprised how often Will Fuller was able to get loose. I was surprised about how much of a chemistry he had and able to get big time deep shots deep. So when you say those guys' names, Will Fuller and Brandin Cooks, I'm all for both of them if they can get them. Chances are they'll get one or the other, but I really like Will Fuller. He's been injury prone most of his career, but at the end of the day, we're looking for attributes now. You know, the Browns roster is pretty much complete, and we're not really looking for a complete defensive end or a complete defensive tackle because, to be honest with you, those guys aren't hanging around anymore. Those guys are either signed long-term deals, are back with their teams, or you're going to need to go out and spend big dollars for those guys or trade for those guys. So now the Browns have a complete roster. One of the things that they can do is look for those small attributes, and speed is one of those attributes that we're looking for on the offensive side of the football. And if they can get that to complement what Amari Cooper is going to be able to do, because I think he's going to have a breakout year this year. He's going to be playing with the best quarterback he's played with so far. And I think he's going to capitalize off of that. And if we can get somebody, maybe Jarvis or someone else to run the intermediate routes, I think the one thing that the Browns offense is missing is that deep shot, is that deep threat. And I think Brandin Cooks and Will Fuller can provide that. And they've done it at a high level with Deshaun Watson before as well. Yeah,
and the thing is, imagine the play-action passing game with the Browns running attack, because that's not something Deshaun Watson had when he was getting Will Fuller deep in Houston. So I'm with you. That's an interesting dynamic.